Hello all, and welcome to this unexpected beer review. I wasn't expecting to do this beer review. If you watched the previous video I uploaded, I mentioned I was going to be pretty busy today. I actually got home around the same time. That's just because I left earlier and because I didn't do any of the Christmas shopping that I was planning on doing. So while I was at the grocery store, though, I'm going to be doing my Christmas shopping on the 23rd. And tomorrow, probably. That is, if this doesn't go and cause some issues. So I was at the supermarket. I saw this Fruit Punch IPA. I could not help but be curious as to what that what that entails. Is it going to be bright red? I actually like fruit punch flavor. I don't drink it all that much now that I'm adult because I have a very limited like. I don't really like overly sweet beverages, So like my desire for like fruit punch is immediately quelled with like maybe like half a half a cup or something like that. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, so I was curious about this and I bought it. 9.5 ABV, so ridiculously overproof. And I'll get into that because I don't expect to be talking about the taste of this for too long. Reviews on this were not good. So this is going to be an interesting one to kind of look at. Let me go and see. Do I have the brewer's thing up? No, I do not. Apparently, part of the controversy is that they're starting to use artificial flavors. And yeah, that's the only way you're going to get fruit punch flavors inside of an IPA. I don't think there's any sort of yeast combination that will yeast malt combination, hop combination, what have you, that will be evocative of fruit punch. That is a very distinct flavor. So yeah, without much further ado, let's just go and pour this headache juice out because I am almost certainly going to get a headache from this. Oof. You may ask, why did you get it? Because might as well tell you guys now, I'm going to go on an extended dry January. So I'm going to go kind of beyond January with the dry January thing. How long? I don't know. I'm going to talk more about that later. But and there still be reviews of non-alcoholic beverages, whether it be beer or sparkling water or non-alcoholic beer, or sparkling water, or even root beer. It'll still occur. So there'll still be content on the channel. It's just I won't be having alcohol for an extended period, which is probably a good thing for a whole host of reasons. So, a hazy yellow orange, more yellow than orange, with a thick off-white head. It smells of like somebody, like if I poured like some cheap fruit punch concentrate and then poured an IPA over it. It does not mesh at all. So you got some juicy, almost citrusy like notes there, some hints of dank, some tropical fruit, and then you have this thick aroma of fruit punch throughout. Kind of clashes. Not very well integrated at all. Okay, onto the palate now. Oh God. Some of the reviews mentioned Four Loco. Yeah, this takes me straight to Four Loco land. Oh, It also just immediately walloped me with the histamine rush. You got some hot bitterness, and then yeah, then this really artificial, really it doesn't taste like good fruit punch. And, like there's no way you're going to be like a connoisseur of fruit punch. You know what I mean? But this one tastes aggressively artificial. The fruit punch flavoring, boozy as all hell in the front to mids, and like hooch rotgut boozy. You know what I mean? Just bad alcohol tasting. I am really tempted to do a drain pour. So yeah, boiling this down. If you ever wanted to go and if you ever wondered what a mediocre hazy IPA with too much alcohol and so get a mediocre hazy imperial IPA and pour it over the cheapest like fruit punch concentrate that you can find, and you basically got this beer. It feels like it's dissolving my stomach right now. It's dissolving my stomach, causing my eyes and my sinuses to just fill with water. This will turn into a pounding headache within 15 to 30 minutes. And leading up to the second reason why I bought this, so I can discuss New Belgium for a little bit. This is saving New Belgium. So, in a world where, craft beer is contracting, well, a lot of different kinds of companies are contracting right now, but craft beer is definitely one of them. Voodoo, New Belgium's one of the few that are holding steady and, in fact, actually expanding. And why is that? This line is insanely popular. And it's insanely popular with people who don't drink beer, either don't drink regular beer or craft beer. I guess there's a huge audience out there for people who want juicy ass beers. Um, Now, not everything in the Voodoo Ranger line is absolutely horrible. Basically, any of the Voodoo Ranger line where they have the alcohol in big numbers on it is abysmal and should be avoided at all costs. But some of the ones um, that are a little bit lower ABV are drinkable. To a couple of them actually being good examples of the hazy and IPA styles. Not my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people's cup of teas. But basically, these stovepipes sold in mainstream supermarkets and gas stations across the country. It's keeping um, New Belgium afloat and the rest of its beers afloat. And I just find it so ironic that, you know, let's be real here. This is not done for the love of craft. This is done to make a buck. And hey, that's how the world works. At least in us, free market economy countries. You live and die by the buck. Now, is this like supporting other more interesting endeavors? Yes. Unfortunately, those endeavors are not as well distributed as this is. But at the same time, it's worth looking at. It's like eternal recurrence. Time is a wheel. Everything goes back to, everything returns into itself. And the craft brewers that find a method of success will become the macro brewers of tomorrow, especially with the way the economy is going. But like I said, I don't like talking politics here, even though I have a lot of things to say about it. This is not the place I want to say it in. But let's just say I think, you know, that it's not going to get better in regards to beer companies or everything else for that matter. But focusing on the beer companies, things are not going to get better, and that companies that focus on these profitable endeavors are more likely to go and survive the test of time. Usually during these reviews, I'm like sipping this while I'm talking. It's like I don't kind of want to do that right now because this is god awful. But I think I picked that purposely. Well, I didn't pick it purposely, but I think it kind of, once I started reading the reviews, the germ of the idea for this particular review kind of came into my head. The point of this review, which is not so much this really abysmal beer, but what profit is, and how things change. That a craft beer company is becoming commercial and looking for success, and that's how it is. The last big filter was, of course, Prohibition, and the breweries that survived that ended up, pretty much dominating the beer scene for the next, 60 years. And I kind of hope that we don't have as much of or as long as a lull in quality, where people are more worried about profit and, making sure the company survives the next year than making great beer. But I hope, I don't, I hope I'm still alive when things get better in the beer industry and in the rest of the world, honestly. This is me like This is me like grabbing the beer to take a sip, and then I smell it, and it's like, yeah, yeah, you're not gonna. This might be the first drain pour. This might be the first drain pour. After I cut film, I'm gonna see if I can at least drink a little bit more of this. Not that it was particularly expensive. This was about $4 for the stovepipe, and yes, that is basically your average price for a stovepipe here in Hawaii. Um, yeah, where was I going with this? I've already had enough alcohol from this alone just to go and recalibrate my brain a little bit. So I can't fault them for doing this. You gotta stay in business. You don't want to end up like my beloved Anchor Brewing Company. You want to stay in business. And if pushing shit to people who like shit is what keeps you afloat, then I'm all for this. Don't make me drink it, but I'm all for it for those who like this. God. The ironic thing is, I don't have any other beers to drink with this. I'm probably just going to pour this and call it a night. That's why I haven't drain poured it yet. It's because this is the only beer I have in the house right now, other than two warm, outdated, like Coors Lights that my dad gave me, and I don't think that's going to be an improvement on this. Um, but yeah, so if you're a craft beer lover like me, I think even if you like hazy IPAs, I don't think this is a good example of a hazy IPA at all. I don't think it's even a decent example of a hazy IPA. It's basically a mediocre hazy IPA that's been pushed to its limit alcohol-wise and then had some artificial flavoring dumped into it because that appeals to some people. Getting getting slammed with a strong flavor that they're familiar with and they enjoy. Um, but if it keeps a craft beer company afloat, and New Belgium, please try. I understand that why you're pushing these hard, but try to get the rest of your line out to the rest of the world too. People are losing hope in you. I know you guys make great beers, but when you guys get defined by this, you're basically dealing with like Zoomer, casual beer drinking Zoomers and everything like that, and just being defined by that. And I think that's kind of sad because you guys do have great beers. And if any of my viewers doubt that, just go and buy New Belgium's triple. That is a great triple. You know, great Belgian triple. They can excuse me, they can brew great beers if they want to. You know, um, but they also have to brew beers that keep the doors open. You know what I mean? And that, folks, is your beer review for this evening. Watch as my face just gives a just whatevs. Oh, God help me. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.